NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg is visiting Turkey after twin earthquakes rocked the region last week.
He's meeting with Turkish officials and will tour devastated areas. The visit comes as newly released surveillance footage from Turkey shows the moment the earthquake hit. You can see the ground there shaking, street lights breaking, and even a building there collapsing. The combined death toll in Turkey and Syria has now surpassed 41,000.
For more, let's bring in Kieren Barnes. He's the Mercy Corps Country Director for Syria. Thank you for being with us. You know, we're showing footage from Turkey because we just haven't been able to witness what happened in Syria because of the ongoing civil war there and all of the damage to its infrastructure. So bring us up to date. What is Mercy Corps' response to people who are in desperate need in Syria right now?
Yes, thanks, Errol. Yeah, it's been very difficult over the last kind of 8-9 days to get the real picture of what's happening in Syria. As you say, there's difficulties in terms of connection for communication and starting to map out what has happened to many of those communities. We are, our teams on the ground, we have 45 team members who were also affected by the earthquake, but they've been out into those communities to assess what those needs are and to respond. We work in a number of camps. This is a crisis on top of a crisis. There's already people displaced due to the conflict and now more because of the earthquake. But those people in the camps are saying to us they're struggling to find food. It's becoming very expensive because of the supplies available. They need fuel to stay warm. We're in the middle of winter right now and there are shortages. And then critically, water and access to water because of some of the infrastructure has damaged the supply for clean water, which is what we typically bring to those camps on a daily basis. So these are some of the kind of key things that we're focusing on at the moment and what we're hearing.
Kieren, as we continue to watch these pictures of just devastation, how have the needs and the humanitarian response really changed over the past week and a half? What are your biggest concerns now?
Yes, I mean, and certainly the first few days were people helping their own communities, their families, trying to deal with that, and then looking kind of beyond and getting a sense of the scale. There were families standing next to rubble, listening to their family members trapped inside, unable to do anything. Now we're kind of a week on, we're starting to look at the next few weeks ahead. And one of the biggest concerns are the markets and the availability of goods. We're desperately reliant on that supply chain that comes through a number of border crossings with Turkey. This is an isolated pocket of Syria that's very cut off, very hard to reach. So those supply lines are critical to just getting the basic goods in for people, such as things like food, access to key materials that people can use to kind of repair buildings and things like that, hygiene elements such as soap, sanitary pads, just what families need on an everyday. And that's something that we're distributing with our team, but we're going to need more supplies. And I think that's probably one of the biggest concerns.
And so what's at the top of your list? I know last week, I think we were speaking with someone from Doctors Without Borders. They had mentioned a shortage of tents. I mean, it's winter there. It's freezing at night. You're talking about food. I mean, these are just the basics. What's at the top of your list and how are you shifting to address these needs in the week ahead?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would say the top of the list is actually we need the international community to step in with funding. We're still waiting. We have teams on the ground that we can increase the size of our teams. We can procure from suppliers with what is already there to start distributing, but we're waiting for that significant amount of international funding to kick in. And that's probably the top of the list. Once we have that, then it will be those elements such as food. We're looking at supporting bakeries to reestablish themselves, to start distributing food, and those key materials for those buildings that can be repaired kind of quickly to prevent more people kind of being homeless. Those materials would be great because, as you said, tents are not a long-term solution. It's a short-term quick fix, but we need more than that.
And to your point, the pain really layering and stacking up there for the people of Syria. We'll continue to keep our focus on what's happening. Kieren Barnes, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.